back, everybody, to Rapid MMA. This is the post-fight show for UFC 191. John Dodson went up against Demetrius Johnson for the second time for the flyweight title, and I did only the main card for this one, so we will start off with Paige Van Zant versus Alex Chambers. And this fight went exactly how I thought it would, and everybody thought it would, with Paige pressuring forward and basically dominating. I think a lot of people thought maybe it'd end in the first, maybe it'd end in the second, but I think most of us agreed it was going to end via TKO or knockout, and Paige pretty much could have ended that fight however she wanted to in the last round, but she went for the arm bar, and that is the only thing I got wrong with that fight. Was I thought it was going to be a TKO, a stoppage by the ref, but no, she pulled off a beautiful arm bar. She could have ended it however she wanted to, but it was Paige Van Zant winning via third round submission by armbar. The next one was Jan Blachowicz versus Corey Anderson. Another fight that basically went the way I thought it would, exactly the way I thought it would, but I thought Blachowicz would probably have a bit more stamina in there. I'm not sure what the issue was, but he looked absolutely exhausted like halfway through the first round. Anderson completely dominated. The stand-up game was all his with the jabs, like I had mentioned, and following up with the straight right. But the story of that fight was the ground game, which I'm not sure if I mentioned. I thought it was pretty much going to be a stand-up war, but Anderson just took it to him, beat the hell out of him on the ground, got the decision win, and that was a great fight. Even though it went all the rounds, I enjoyed it. The next one, no surprise here, Anthony Johnson wins via knockout, and I just didn't think Manuwa was going to be able to handle the pressure of an Anthony Johnson. I knew Johnson would probably go for some grappling, but ended on the feet, and that's exactly what he did. And he got Manuwa thinking about what he was going to do. It's what I mentioned in the video before. Anthony Johnson got the knockout in the second round, and it was crazy. That guy has so much power. Every big shot that landed just knocked him to the side. So I don't know, back to the drawing board for Manuwa. I don't know who's going to stop Johnson. I'd love to see the matchup with John Jones. I want to see that matchup so bad, even though if it wouldn't go his way, I just want to see how John Jones would dismantle or figure out an Anthony Johnson. But yeah, Anthony Johnson wins that fight, round 2 knockout. I got that one perfect as well. It was the next fight where we finally hit the speed bump, and that is Andrei Arlovski versus Frank Mir. And who was it? Brian Stan saying on the Fox Sports show that he would eat his shoe if it went all 3 rounds, and a lot of people, it almost surprised me, just because it's a heavyweight fight. Yes, the likelihood of somebody getting knocked out is so much higher, but it's not going to happen every single time, and I didn't see it happening in this fight. Obviously it can, it's hard to predict, but for me, I just felt like for sure these guys were going to take a step back. They're both heavy strikers, they're both dangerous, especially Frank Mir now, so they're gonna be gauging each other, and Frank Mir did hit more than Andrei Arlovski pressing forward more, landing the combo, or not really landing combos, but he's at least throwing them, and Frank Mir stepping back trying to counter, but he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. When Andrei Arlovski came in with his jab and his overhand right or straight rights, Frank Mir tied him up and he pushed him up against the cage. But this is not what I was expecting to happen. Every single time they pressured up against the cage, Frank Mir had it for a little while in the first round, but Frank Mir started to tire out really bad, and we noticed that as the fight went on. Frank Mir just could not keep up with the cardio of an Arlovski, and I thought maybe Frank Mir was going to be able to pressure him a lot, keep his weight on him, maybe take him down, keep his weight on him, and tire out Arlovski. But it looked like Frank Mir just gassed out too hard, and I think he might have been able to, he could have won that fight if maybe he tried to push him up against the cage more and really try to keep that pressure and stifle Andrei Arlovski, but it just ended up being Arlovski pushing on Frank Mir, and that might not look like a lot, but not a lot happened in that fight. So Arlovski, I think, won for multiple reasons. He was throwing more strikes, whether they're landing or not, that's pushing the pressure. 2, he was holding Frank Mir up against the fence. Otherwise, that's really about it. I think he had more significant strikes than Frank Mir, obviously. But Frank Mir had the knockdown. He had the takedown. He had a submission attempt. In the first round, he was doing everything he needed to. Frank Mir did what he did in the first round. I think he would have won the fight. But that's just my opinion. I saw a whole host of different opinions on this fight. And it's just up in the air, basically. But at the end of the day, Arlovski won that fight. I think I would have had it perfect if Frank Mir just would have been able to keep that pressure on him. But I had Frank Mir via decision, despite popular belief that it was going to be ending in the first round. But just remember, guys, that's just when it comes to these high stylistic matchups, these high pressure fights, sometimes it's just not going to turn out the way we all think it will, and that happens in a lot of divisions. But just because it's a heavyweight division doesn't mean it's going to be some blowout. Got that one wrong. Next one, obviously the title fight, and I think a lot of people saw this happening too. Demetrious Johnson winning via decision. Saw some people saying, he's going to finish him this time, but Dodson's tough. It's going to be hard to finish for a person like Demetrious Johnson to finish off Dodson, because he wants to watch out for the power, and that's how Dodson wins his fight, counters, and he almost finished, well, not almost, but he dropped Johnson a couple times in their previous fight. And Johnson did exactly the things that he needed to do that I mentioned in the previous video. He needed to do to fix the mistakes he made in the first meetup, which was creating great angles after he's throwing combos. He stayed on the outside when he was switching stances. He was way more precise with his striking. He still didn't quite get the takedown timing right. He did a few times, but he still wasn't able to take down Dodson. Dodson just has incredible takedown defense. I mean, you really have to give him the credit he deserves after that. So Demetrious Johnson winning via decision. We almost got a near perfect today, guys, other than Paige Van Zandt going for the submission at the end. But I count that as still a perfect in my eyes, because, at that point, it was just whatever the hell Paige wanted to do. And then Frank Mir versus Andrei Arlovski, I thought after watching the fight that Frank Mir actually won, and I kind of thought it was not a robbery, but I was a little bit surprised. But after thinking about it for a bit, maybe I have to watch it again, I could see where the judges, gave Arlovski the nod, and I'm sure a lot of people scored it the same way. So anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We did good on this one. Keep coming back. Hopefully we can knock out another near perfect in the next upcoming UFC 192. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.